Welcome to the Model Health Show. This is fitness and nutrition expert Shawn Stevenson here with my beautiful co-host and producer, Jade Harrell. What's up, Jade?
What's up, Shawn?
How you doing today?
I am enthusiast.
Enthusiast.
What you guess that is?
What is it? Tell me.
I am enthusiastic and ambitious.
Wow, I thought it was delicious.
I know. I would have took that. But I said, well,
Yeah.
I don't want to get too personal.
I love that. I love that. Well, everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. We've got a phenomenal show for you guys today. Very, very excited about our guests. But before we get into our topic of the day and our guest today, I first want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, onnit.com.
I am so thankful for them.
Head over to onnit.com/model for 10% off all of your health and human performance supplements. We know that we're huge fans of the Hemp Force protein, the most bioavailable protein for the human body. It's a certain structure, a protein structure called edestin, and it's uniquely found in hemp, which is kind of weird. But then it tells you specifically that this is an ideal human food.
Right.
And also the omega-3 to omega-6 fatty acid ratio is perfect for the human body. And where we're looking at about a 3-to-1 ratio of omega-6 to omega-3s respectively, whereas our diet today is so high in omega-6s, which are more the pro-inflammatory fatty acids, which we need them.
Yeah.
But when it becomes too much, then we become inflamed, which means internal fire. Right? But not the good kind of fire.
Good kind.
The kind that makes you hot and puffy.
Right.
All right? So definitely check out the Hemp Force protein. And it tastes good. It doesn't taste like you're scooping out a couple of used ashes from an ashtray and put it in your smoothie. It's delicious.
I can imagine.
That's number one. And also Shroom Tech Sport, Shroom Tech Immune. These are two things. I'm actually headed on a flight right after this. So I'm loading up on the Shroom Tech Immune.
Absolutely.
Chaga mushroom, over 300% increase in your NK cells, your natural killer cells activity, which are basically immunological weapons to defend your body against anything you're exposed to. And we're talking about 5,000 years of documented history. And the efficacy today with our new science and new experimentations and being able to look at things through superpower microscopes and all that good stuff. But it's proving the efficacy of this unique food, which is chaga mushroom. And it's also the highest ORAC thing of anything you're going to find.
Yes.
An ORAC, so basically we're talking about antioxidants. All right, so highest antioxidant food you're going to find. More than red wine, you can get your drink on. We'll get some chaga into. Right. More than chocolate, more than acai, all this fancy stuff. Chaga is the number one. So head over there, check them out, onnit.com/model for 10% off. Now let's get into the iTunes review of the week.
My favorite part, this is from Pretoria, another 5-star rating. Now, don't think we only get 5 stars, but since I get to pick, I'm picking this one. It says, I think I'm in love. I didn't know it was possible to love a podcast this much. The Model Health Show is my favorite podcast, hands down. Shawn and Jade are awe-inspiring, awesome and inspiring. I feel like they are giving out essential life-changing information, all this for free. Everyone should listen to golden nuggets that they are sharing. I also appreciate how enthusiastic both Shawn and Jade are. They make the show entertaining and educational. They're a great team. Shawn provides exceptional content in a silky, deep voice, and Jade adds humor and asks great questions to the show. They have an effortless chemistry. 'Tis true. I feel like my life has improved for the better. I'm definitely more inspired to be healthy and will pass the word around them. Thanks, Shawn and Jade. I'm grateful for the work that you guys do. You guys are changing lives positively.
Wow, that is incredible. Like I literally was like smiling, blushing.
Right.
Thank you so much for leaving that review. I truly appreciate it. Everybody, thanks for heading over to iTunes and leaving those reviews for us. It means the world. Truly, thank you.
It does.
Now let's go ahead and get into our topic of the day and our special guest. Our guest today is Eric Thomas, PhD, and he is a critically acclaimed author and world-renowned speaker who has truly taken the world by storm. Better known as E.T., his creative style and high-energy messages have enabled him to impact the lives of tens of millions of people in countries all over the globe. And he's here today to share some of his best insights with you. I'd like to welcome to the Model Health Show, Mr. Eric Thomas. How you doing today, man?
What up, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy E.T. What it do, baby? How you feeling?
I'm doing great, man. So honored and just a huge privilege to have you on the show today, man.
Yeah, likewise, man. I was on that hymn. I'm like, him. Then I don't really drink red wine. I don't drink. So whatever that stuff was you said, I'm like, I got to order some of that because I got to get the antioxidants going. So, yeah, man, I'm excited about the show as well. And I'm about to be one of your biggest fans because sounds like I need to be listening in and getting some of that insight. I'm getting a little older, trying to run 5-6 miles a day. So I need some stuff to kind of recharge and rebuild the body. So we're gonna talk after we talk.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, like I said, man, and everybody, before the show, I actually told Eric this, that my wife is a avid listener and listens to his his YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And she'll actually play them in the car and listen to the audio, and it gets her pumped up after she works out, right? So she can kind of go into her workday. Right. She's flipping it on us. But
I love it.
truly excited to have you on, man. And if you can, I know there's a lot of people that out there that have heard about you, but for those who don't know, can you tell us a little bit about your story and how you actually got into this field and being able to impact the lives of so many millions of people today?
Yeah, well, I'm a failure that got back up. You know, I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth. Mom got pregnant when she was 17 years old. Grandma kicked her out. Wow. Not because she was mad at her, but grandma had 14 kids, in a 2-bedroom house, with 1 or 2 bathrooms. So grandma couldn't afford to feed, another mouth. So people say started from the bottom, now we here. My bottom started before my bottom started. My bottom started with my mom. But mom's was strong. She ended up getting a job, moving to Detroit and working for Ford Motor Company, microfilm. And mom got married. And I don't know, man, it just didn't work for me. That was, my mom's husband. But when I was younger, I just wasn't really feeling, him as my father. I was young, dumb, didn't know what I know now. And so I ended up leaving home probably about 14, back and forth. And at 16, I left for good, dropped out of high school, lived in abandoned buildings, ate out of trash cans. And then I started going to church when I was about 17 with one of my homeboys, not for church. I just went with my homeboy because it was safe. I knew he was going to get a meal. It was a positive environment. So I knew I was going to be safe for those hours, that we were at the church. And pastor ended up mentoring me, helped me to get my GED, sent me to college. Took 12 years to get a 4-year degree, but I've finally been able to get that PhD. So it's not how you start, the race, but how you finish it, which is important. So I'm a failure just like everybody else, except for I failed forward. I've learned from my mistakes and I've gotten better as a result of my mistakes. And now I'm trying to teach the world that, hey, you might get knocked down, but you ain't got to stay down. You know what I'm saying? If somebody knocked you down, I mean, for real, we human. I didn't ask to be born, to a young mother. I didn't ask to be born in Chicago. I didn't ask to be born African-American. You know what I'm saying? So there's some things that are going to happen to you in life that you didn't ask for. We are going to get knocked down. But the problem is if I come back a week later, you're still on the ground, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the issue. You know what I'm saying? So I just decided to get back up. And what I'm trying to do is teach other people who've been knocked down that you don't have to embrace or accept the life that was given to you. It's your book, it's your chapter. You can write another story to that thing if you want to. So E.T. trying to rewrite his story, baby.
I love that, man. So powerful and so true, And the thing is, a lot of times the most powerful things are so simple and so true. Right. But I'm curious. Absolutely. I'm curious about you, man. How did you go from? And I'm imagining that your vision just continued to evolve. But how did you start from maybe wanting to tell 1 or 2 people about it to? I mean, literally, like your vision is probably huge right now, and the impact that you want to make. What made you want to reach so many lives in this capacity?
And I think so many people reach my life, and so I was just doing what they did for me. So you can just imagine going to college and my parents didn't necessarily support me, and not because they didn't love me, but I mean, I was homeless. I was gone away from home for 2 years before 3 years before I actually went to college. So it wasn't like they were saving money, for my college fund. I was a high school dropout. So many people helped me from homelessness, to high school dropout to getting where I am today. So all I'm doing is repaying all those people. So I'm only doing for other people what those people did for me. And it just happened to turn into, being a, nationally, an internationally known motivational speaker. But the reality is I'm only doing for others what was done for me. That's it. And that's what they used to tell me. Like you can't repay us for what we're about to do. Like we're about to set you up for the rest of your life. All we're asking you to do is when you get there, don't forget others. Yeah. Do for others what we did for you. And so I'm just trying to, every day I wake up trying to pay that pastor back, trying to, the saints from that church, my professors, mentors. I'm just trying to pay all those people back. And since I can't do anything for them personally, I can do something for the people that I come across every day, in the world.
Powerful, man. So that speaks to the importance of having good people in our lives.
Oh, come on.
So,
Come on.
what can you say on that front? Because I know that a lot of people, the bottom line is we're a product of our environment, but we're also creators of our environment. So what can you say
Absolutely.
to the people out there who might feel limited or kind of weighed down by the people that they're around? Maybe they feel like, they're not on the same page with them. They don't share the same vision. What can you say to those people?
Well, they do share the same vision. I think sometimes, again, we accept the life that was given to us. I'm talking about you just broke it down. Like, I mean, you went from a health standpoint, you named, like, I ain't never heard of getting on it, like getting a supplement before I get on the plane to protect myself once I get on the plane. Like, I've never heard that before. And so what you've done is you've identified some minerals, you've identified some things in the health realm, some vitamins that I can put on the inside that will, and as a matter of fact, you start talking about omega-6, I guess it is, and how like when you eat, there's some things that you're eating, like you are aware. There's some things that I'm eating that are going to give me that, but if I'm not cautious, then I'm going to get too much. That's inflammatory, and that's heat, and that ain't good heat. You know what I'm saying? And so what's happening to me internally? So you just broke it down. That's the same thing that's in your environment.
Right.
If you're running with certain people, you might be getting too much of the wrong stuff. And so what you have to do is you got to know where you want to go, and you can't let the environment you're in take you somewhere where you're not trying to go. You have to be very intentional and deliberate about, I'm trying to, like, you sound like, and I don't know, but you sound like you're trying to live for a long time. Like, you sound like you ain't trying to be up out of here tomorrow. Like, it sounds like you got a plan, and you doing some things every single day. There's things that you're putting in your body. I'm sure you're exercising. There's some things that you are doing to prepare yourself. So I'm just saying, like, if you know where you want to go and you're around people that ain't going to help you to get there, that's not rocket science.
Right.
It's not rocket science. This is not about to help me to get to where I'm going. So me and Pookie may not need to hang out as much no more. Me and Lil Ray, we might need to just go ahead and part ways. Why? Because I don't care what environment you grew up in. There are positive people there.
Yeah.
There are people there who want something. There are people with dreams and goals. In Detroit, in Chicago, in St. Louis, in Gary, Indiana. I don't care where you go. There are people there who want something. And I guess I would say what you need to do, your job, is to get from around the people who just automatically were in your life because they grew up on the same block, because they were your next door neighbors, because they went to the school you went to, and go find it. The stuff you talking about, like, I might not be able to go to Walmart and get all of that. I may not be able to go to Target and get some of the supplements you're talking about. But I guarantee you, if I go to whatever it was, online, whatever, if I go there, I guarantee you everything I'm looking for in terms of supplements is at that store.
Right.
So if you were born in a Walmart or born near a Target and they don't have it, get your butt from around that neighborhood, get on the bus, and go where they got the stuff. If you got to catch a bus and go to the other side of town, do whatever you have to do, but get what you need to create the environment that you want.
Yeah.
Beautiful. E.T., talk about the decision that happens to get around something else, to connect to something else, because Pookie could be familiar and Walmart can be familiar and even convenient. But we're talking a different place, that place of greatness that you emphasize so much in your presentation.
Yeah, for me, it was simple. Start where you are with what you have. Like, don't make it complex. I got a girlfriend who wanted something. Like, that ain't even complex. That's where I started this whole thing. My girlfriend wanted something. And she a registered nurse today, been in the game for a long time, got her master's degree. I just started hanging with people who wanted something. So first, my girlfriend wanted something. My best friend helped me to get from the streets to the church. My best friend and I ain't even best friends no more. Why? Because I even grew up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I my man, but he helped me to get to a certain place. But then after a while, I knew, okay, where me and him, like, we both got to this place. Now I'm trying to get to another place, and he ain't trying to get to another place. He's satisfied with this place, And then I would say through reading, like when you read, man, I went to Bermuda before I went to Bermuda. I went to England before I went to England. You know what I'm saying? Like, I went to Hawaii before I went to Hawaii. I started drinking the little drinks that they had in Hawaii, putting the little hula on, doing my little thing. I'm being for real. I used to be in my room visioning myself doing a world tour, and I'm in Australia now. So I was watching my man Down Under before I even went down under. I was checking out kangaroos before I saw a kangaroo. So I'm saying, like, nobody can stop you from dreaming. Nobody, get off the internet just on, and no disrespect to Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. Those are powerful tools. But I'm saying, get online and go watch an hour of an episode of Hawaii, like somebody who went to Hawaii and put the footage up. Go watch that. Go read about you know, the Eiffel Tower. Read about it. Put pictures of the Eiffel Tower all in your room and say, one day I'm gonna go there. So for me, I think the people around you, my girlfriend, my best friend, you know, some of the people who were in church. Then when I went to college, there's a whole set of people that I started running with. So I'm saying, start where you are with what you have. For what you have in your environment is plenty enough to get you out of that environment.
Man, you so much there, man. And you really speak into the law, man. You know, our minds are so powerful and being able to attract into our lives. But the thing is, it doesn't just happen. It takes that action as well, you know, and you moving forward and taking steps each day. And I think that's kind of what sets you apart is, you know, people can do this stuff. They can put pictures up, but you're moving forward. You're taking action each day in that direction. And we actually just had on recently incredible Bob Proctor, right? And
oh, my God.
Yeah, man, he's something else, man. And so just being able to have you and to have him and to speak to the power of your mind. And for me, it's actually good. Okay.
I hear
a
beeper.
Yeah, that was, yeah. and for me, there's actually, you know, I like to look at the science because I'm a very analytical person, as everybody knows. And there's parts of the brain called the reticular activating system and the reticular cortex that literally whatever you put in front of your mind, whatever you're thinking about, your subconscious is going to be trying to find ways to bring it into your life. Nice. So this is the whole phenomenon of people, you know, you get a new car, then you start to see that car everywhere, right? It's not that they, you know, the universe magically put those cars there. It's that your whole physiology is trying to bring you closer to that thing that you are familiar with. So making yourself more familiar.
Absolutely. And so I hear you guys, you know, and people will be like, E.T., you took the next step. Like, I don't think that's the truth. I think the truth is, people stop taking the steps. Like, I didn't put stuff up on my wall just to put it on my wall. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't put it on my wall to get excited about my wall. That's not why I put it on the wall. I put it on the wall because that's one of the many steps that is required before I can make the big step. Yeah. So let's just say I walk from my living room, you know, to my bedroom. That might be 20 steps. So I can't get there until I do all 20 steps. So people have to understand, like, you can't put something on the wall and think that's every step. That's not every step. Like when I go on the internet and watch it on the internet, that's just another step. When I read it in a book, that's just another step. So you can't stop taking the steps because you put it on the wall and that got you excited. Like, you cannot let yourself get excited about putting it on the wall. And I'm gonna be real, this is one of the problems I have with most humans. The excitement or the thrill you're supposed to get from doing it, they get from talking it. Ooh. So when they start talking about a thing, like, they get excited about it. Like, you're not supposed to be getting excited about talking about it. You're not supposed to get excited because you put it on your wall and you shared it with somebody. That's excitement is to be reserved when you're physically in that moment and you say, I made it, I did it. So to me, I'm saying, I don't stop putting the focus on Eric Thomas. Eric Thomas doing what he's supposed to do. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. You are stopping at step 18. Or step 20. Don't stop at the steps. Keep going. My coach used to say, don't run to it, run through it, right? Don't run to the ribbon, run through the ribbon. So I'm saying to everybody, yes, visualizing is important. The attraction is important, but you have to see every step through, and you cannot throw a party until you have completed every single step. Don't celebrate in the middle of the steps. You have to celebrate all the way through it. Real quick, this is what I do. Like, so if I'm running and I say I'm gonna run 4 miles and I stop at 3, then I tack another one on. Because if you're gonna get rest, what you getting rest for? You don't need rest to do 4, so you quit. So now you need to, so I'm saying to folk, if you stop and celebrate midway, then you need to add something to that thing so that when you finally get that thing, you can get the celebration that you deserve from the work that you put in.
Yeah. Whoa. Wow. So powerful.
Yes.
And he really spoke to this really important thing of don't leave that step out. Right. Don't leave this step out as well, you know, of the visualization and pinning the stuff up on your wall. It's a step, but it's not all the steps. Yeah. Love that, man.
And it's one that you don't skip.
Yeah.
See, we can even skip that first. Right. We're so busy looking down at the 20
Yeah.
that we slip up and miss the first couple.
Yeah. I want this thing, but what does it look like?
Right.
You know, what
Make
does it really look like?
That's it, Shawn.
And this really leads to a really good place where you mentioned a couple things, you know, in your personal strategy. You know, so you've got some visualization there. You've got some running that you do. Share your daily regimen, man. We would love to hear that. So what are you doing on a daily basis to get you in position to make the impact that you make?
So, and this is a shameless plug, and I never do it. But the young man, our president of our organization, we just finished our album, so it'll be released on the 31st. And he let me listen to a song on there that I did with Warren Buffett. It's a speech I did after meeting Warren Buffett, and it's called Uncle Warren. You know, and everybody's got to hear it, because from Warren Buffett, man, if I didn't get anything else, and I just want to preference this with this, because I don't want people to get so caught up in Eric Thomas' routine that they try to mimic my routine, because that's not the trick. But Warren Buffett really taught me or elaborated on the fact that the routine is the heart. You know, so if you look at a man or woman's success, if you want to like break it down, like numerator, denominator, you know what I'm saying? You wouldn't want to break that thing down. You would be looking at their routine and how much of their routine they do daily. Because you can have a routine, but your routine may only last you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? Some people's routine lasts them Monday through Friday, and they kind of chill on the weekend.
Right.
And other people's routine is like 7 days a week. So that's the first thing. You have to have a routine. This is critical. So before we talk about Eric's routine, you have to understand that there's something that you have to do daily, because what I believe in is something called muscle memory. And so what muscle memory does is muscle memory helps you to do what you do when you don't even feel like doing what you want to do. Like when you're not even committed to doing what you want to do, muscle memory says, yo, this is our DNA. This is who we are. This is what we do. So I'm going to be real, and I know you can attest to this. I didn't feel like waking up and doing 4 miles today. But my body said to me, like my body was like, yo, E, let's go. Now my mind was like, I ain't really feeling like doing it. But my body was like, yo, E, let's go. And I felt when I first got on the treadmill, I could feel that bounce. You know, I could feel my body like, let's get it, E. You know, let's see if we can set our best record today. So number one, let's get a routine. And let's not make the routine something we do Monday, Thursday, you know, like a class, Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Like, let's do it regularly, all right? So my routine, I believe that what you put in is important. So the first 2.5 hours is really spiritual for me, all right? So the first hour, I just go walk, you know, 3 or 4 miles, 5 miles, I just go walk and talk. That's all I do is I just walk and talk, and then I listen, all right? I'm talking to the creator. I'm listening to what he says back. So then after that, I got an hour a half hour where I'm meditating. Then I'm just listening to some music that's my favorite playlist, and I'm just concentrating. And I'm trying to think, what did I do? What did I say I was going to do yesterday? And what did I really do the day before? You feel me? Like, what did I say I was going to do? And what did I really do? Right? And then I'm going through it. What did you do good? What did you do wrong? Let's make the adjustment. And then I think about the rest of the day. What do you have to get done? There are 20 things. Let's categorize those 20 things. Boom. And let's go for it. And then after that, I exercise. And in 30 minutes with my wife on her way to work, we're doing these positive affirmations. We're giving our testimonies. We're looking at what we're doing good as a family, what we're not doing well as a family, what adjustments we need to make. And then boom, 8 o'clock, staff come through and we grinding. We getting it in for as long as we, need to get it in. And then I kind of break it down about 3, 4, break it down, do maybe some reading, watch a documentary, listen to some music, just a different type of grind. A lot of people just want to grind, but a big part of a grind, if you want to grow, is the analysis of that grind, measuring that grind. You have to measure, you have to analyze, and you have to forecast. You have to think what's next. So you got to take some time away from the work and work on your work, right? You got to work on your work. And then I go to bed early, man. 9 o'clock, I'm in the bed. 9:30, I'm knocked out. And I try to get that, that prime sleep. Somebody told me that the heart rate is different during that time, that I can get more sleep because I'm not nocturnal. I can get a little bit more sleep. Like they said, you almost get double. And you can help me out with this. But they say if you go to bed at 9, you get double sleep versus somebody go to bed at midnight. So your boy E.T. I might only get 5, But technically, if you do the math, it might be like 9 hours that I'm getting.
Love it, man.
He's
And
in your wheelhouse, Shawn.
yeah, definitely. So there's so much there, so much there. And even starting your day in that form and fashion, man, is so powerful. It's setting the track for an amazing day every day. And I'm so glad that you brought up, before you even shared that the routine is what's most important, and I love the fact you said 5 days a week. 5 days a week, I'm on my thing, but Saturday I'm asleep in. Sunday, I'm gonna just go ahead and take this one. And then Monday be harder.
It does.
Right? Monday's harder because you fell off on the weekend.
You're starting over.
And here's the key. So one of the wonderful things that he brought up was this sleep. And they're like, 9:30 and 5 hours. So he mentioned to me earlier that, so he's sleeping about from 9:30, he's getting up around, is it 3:30, 4 o'clock?
3 o'clock.
Yeah. Every day. That's his thing. And so one of the things that we brought up, and this might have actually gotten out around to you through me, which is, it's a very powerful understanding that the hours between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. are known as what's called money time sleep. It's sort of like timing an investment, right? If you take even a lot of money and you invest it at the wrong time,
that's right,
you get pain. But if you take even a little bit of money, invest at the right time, you can win big.
Compound and so
he's investing at the right time. He's investing at a smart time and getting more, reaping more benefits. And one of the big things is more melatonin secretion, more anabolic hormone secretion, and also a higher ratio of reparative enzymes as well to repair his body, because most of that work is happening in those early hours, because he said it.
Sexy, bro. That sounds sexy, bro. I like that. I never heard of it like that before. I love it.
And so what he's doing is he's really lining up things for a massive benefit, whereas other people are, they might be getting 8 hours of sleep, but they're waking up tired every day and dragging through the day because they're going to sleep at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. This is just, he said the word, and this is why I love all of this that he's talking about is nocturnal. We're not nocturnal creatures. Period. And let's see you get out there, pitch black, in the jungle and see how you do.
Right.
The lion's going to be able to see you, but you can't see it because we're not nocturnal animals. We're wired up to work with nature. And really, he's doing a lot of powerful stuff, even though he maybe in the beginning didn't know why it was working, but it's working. Right. And just want to thank you for that, man.
I don't know the technical terms, bro, but like you said, I just know it's working.
That's right. And when you think about the ultimate level, the high level of which he has impact and is impacting people, what he puts out. I mean, look at this level of energy in everything he said and how he says it. He has to recoup. He has to gird up in order to put out at the level that he's on.
Hey, that's what I want to ask you about next, man, is if there's any advice or tips or even strategies you use in your own life to help people to be more consistent, because that's a real issue for a lot of people, is that consistency. People struggle with that. They'll get really on fire to get into a certain exercise program or nutrition, and they'll do it for a little while, but then they fall off. What can you speak to about consistency and helping people to maybe flower and to develop more of that in their lives?
Yeah, I think knowledge is power. And when you talk about investment, you have people who are just excited about investing because they're new to the game. They never heard of it. So they just think investing is going, they don't know what you just said, that thing about timing. So then you have to talk to somebody who's knowledgeable in that area, right? Yeah. So I think a lot of people start off excited, pumped up about, changing their lives without really knowing the steps that are required to change one's life. So it's kind of like, again, you're making all this money, athletes who make all this money with no knowledge of the money. So it would be good if somebody could teach them the game, but also teach them the game within the game, right? That would be critical. So you got all these great, wonderful singers who made millions who were broke, and so it's because they don't have the knowledge. And I think so many of us, we start off of motivation, and motivation is a great tool. It's something that you need to do daily, but only empowerment can bring about transformation. You can't bring transformation about with ignorance. My people perish because of a lack of knowledge. So you have to be informed. So what time do I need to go to sleep if I'm going to be able to do this thing consistently? Who do I need to bring in my life? What books do I need to read? People ask me all the time, E.T., what book you read? I'll say, for what? Why you want to know what book I'm reading? Like, how's that going to benefit you? Like, I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm a pastor. I'm a leader of a company. Why would you want to read what I'm reading? Are you those things? You know what I'm saying? So don't ask me what book I'm reading. You need to ask me, what book should I read for this particular thing that I'm trying to accomplish, right? So then the second thing is, for real, man, I think it's a character issue. Like you can't be consistent if you don't deal with who you really are.
Yes.
Ooh.
And so ET can't be consistent if ET don't want to deal with the fact that I'm a procrastinator. So I got to be real with myself and say, yo, E, you're a procrastinator. Like you always wait to the last minute to do everything. So you're never going to be able to be consistent until you deal with one, honesty. Hi, I'm Eric Thomas and I'm a procrastinator, right? So then let's deal with, why do you procrastinate? What happened in your life that makes you procrastinate? Okay, I get it. I don't understand that there are certain things in life, and again, shameless plug. I hate to do this, but in my book, Greatness is Upon You, I have a quad, and it really says that there are certain things that are not important. And I used to find myself a lot of times doing stuff that wasn't important, but I had an affirmation issue because my father wasn't in my life. I wanted to be affirmed by people. So I would do things that I probably shouldn't do, but I just want to make them happy because I wanted them to like me. And a part of blowing up is people not going to always like you. So I had to deal with that affirmation thing. Then there were some things that's important. But then there are things that are very important. Yeah. And then there's some things that are emergencies. And so I'm able to be consistent because now I prioritize. Like, yo, there are things that are not important, Eric, that don't do those. The working out, I got to do that every day. Like that's like emergency because if I don't take care of my health, I could die. So my wife saying the house need to be clean. That's very important. I got to get that done. Because if I don't get that done and she come home, it's going to, like, she's going to be able to change the dynamics of the environment and the mood in the house. So I've learned that, you got to know yourself. You got to learn yourself. You got to learn your environment because you can't be consistent if you're not real. And by writing all this, my deficiencies down and then addressing those deficiencies and then understanding that, yo, man, if I could be consistent, like I would murder 85 to 90% of the world's population. So the last one is, what if you really knew the benefits of not putting stuff off? If you could see the zeros change, the commas change in your life, like I'm making way more money since I finished the PhD. I'm making way more money with the masters, with the 4 years. I'm making way more money than I finished a couple books. I'm making way more money than I'm talking in the NFL, doing commercials for NBA. I'm making way more money. So I don't procrastinate anymore because I can see a direct correlation between my annual income and procrastination. Mm-hmm. I can see a direct correlation between the two.
Powerful,
Key
man.
areas too.
Man, the big takeaway really I want everybody to walk away with is being honest with yourself, about yourself.
Yeah.
So powerful.
Mm-hmm.
How often do we skip over that?
Mm-hmm.
And because we're so external focused and we're not really looking at who we are as a person.
I even like the analogy of, hi, I'm Eric Thomas and I'm a procrastinator. I mean, I may not go to a formal meeting, but I could use to step in front of that mirror and say, hi, Jade. Yeah, you know this is where you're at.
He took us to AAA.
AAP. PA, Procrastinators Anonymous.
And also, and it's a great quote, and he speaks to this in his book, stop majoring in minor things. Mm-hmm. You know, stop majoring in minor things. Right. And a lot of us, we're getting up each day and we're doing a lot of, the busy work instead of doing the things that are most important. And what he said, the things that are extremely important that are going to reap the most benefits, prioritizing your life. So powerful, man. Thank you so much for sharing that, man.
Well, with great labels like emergency, very important, and important, those gives us that gray area clarity.
Yeah.
So we're over. It's not just, hey, this is all, remember when you told me about sleep? It's interesting how this took away from the very thing that would make us more vibrant. Yeah. I said, Shawn, I can't sleep. I've got too much to do. And you made me break it down. Well, what are you doing? Well, that list got more and more insignificant compared to what the sleep would do.
Right. And you leaving out the part I said I wasn't going to work with you.
Well, no, yeah.
If you wasn't going to sleep.
That ultimatum was good.
It's going to be pointless.
But I knew the value. I realized that in order for me to, one, survive and thrive, I needed you. And that choice was greater than what I felt like was so important at the time.
Eric, can you speak to, you brought up a couple of times, some of your health practices. So can you speak to the importance or the value that you've seen in your own life of taking care of yourself, getting up and doing your daily running, that kind of thing? Can you speak to that, please?
Yeah, man. And I don't want to put nobody business on the street, but, I have a lot of uncles who are, I guess we're all addicts. I've just never used drugs. My wife would probably say I'm addicted to work. You know what I'm saying? My wife would tell you I have an addictive behavior. You know what I'm saying? Like I have an addictive personality. And so what I've had to do is decide, yeah, I do, but it's not going to be with something negative.
Yeah.
It's going to be with positive stuff. You know, so I've made up in my mind. And again, this is different for everybody. So don't take this, you know, like E.T. told me, but my family is addicts. So I've had, you know, my biological father, you know, has been strung out, you know, on drugs for 14 years, you know, at a point in his life. You know, my uncles had an uncle die, you know, liver cirrhosis of the liver, you know, from alcohol. I have others who just their lives, the quality of their lives have been terrible because they couldn't manage drinking. Yeah. And so one of the things I've done is I never drank, I never smoked, just because I saw my family like, yo, they don't seem to be balanced with this. Like they don't seem to be able to do this socially. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody taking this to the next level. You know, so I decided, you know, not to drink, not to smoke. I've decided, you know, when I was about, I think maybe 17 or 18, I stopped eating pork. I stopped eating red meat, you know, and for the most part, like if you go through my daily routine, I'm trying to get a lot of, you know, vegetables in, trying to get my fruit in, even tempering with, you know, meat eating, you know, with the chicken or the turkey, try to do the organic, you know, try to make sure I'm staying away from some of the meats that's just like, you know, going, hey, what I call an assembly line, you know, some of the meats that's going through the GMO, you know, I try to make sure like when I'm getting fruit that again, it's organic. I'm trying not to get, you know, the seedless stuff that they're manufacturing in the lab. You know, I'm trying to get the natural stuff if I can. I believe that if it got the seed in it, it's probably a little bit more natural, you know. So, like you said, a little organic here and there. Some things don't matter if it's organic, but some things do. And then I'm getting that sleep. I'm getting sleep. I'm trying to get fresh air. I think fresh air is important. Trying to get that sunlight, you know, trying to be balanced, you know, in everything that I do. You know, and then the spiritual thing, I really believe that there is a spiritual part of us. You know, everybody does whatever they do, but I do believe that E.T. can't answer every question on his own. You know what I'm saying? So I do try to tap in that way as well. And that's it, man. But eating healthy, my wife and I, we try to exercise daily. Sometimes that's riding a bike, you know, because I don't feel like getting on the treadmill. But we try to treadmill at least 45 minutes to an hour, just active, just doing something, moving the limbs, you know, getting the body flowing properly. And then, like I said, man, the naps. This is going to be critical for some people. Maybe you can't go to bed at a certain time right now. You're not mature enough, but give me a 5-minute power nap. Give me a 10-minute power nap during the day and just let your body get recharged. And this one may sound corny, but even yesterday, man, I got a gallon of water in. You know, yesterday I was just murdering the water. I got where I just do 4 of them a day and get that in, get your water in your system. So I'm not on your level. You name some stuff that I don't know. Like I don't really do the supplements, and that's why we got to talk because I am getting older. I probably need them, but those are some of the things I do, you know, daily to get myself, you know, prime, you know, Optimus Prime to get the most I can get out of my body.
I love that, man. Optimus Prime. I love it.
Well, you know,
So
it's
much
amazing how he keeps saying, well, I may not know what you're saying. I may not know what you're saying. And you have basically iterated almost every episode we've put out and what the takeaways we've hoped that our listeners get. I mean, everything we've hoped for someone to adopt and to incorporate in their life, from spirit to body to water to sleep, you have said.
Yeah.
So you may not know it verbatim, but intrinsically you are there.
But this is why also he's playing at a high level, everybody. You know, we actually did a class, a master class on water, one episode devoted entirely, about an hour, talking about the different benefits of water and also where to find the best water, the different water structure, how it impacts your cells, all that good stuff.
He even said fresh air. He's on it.
Yeah, definitely. And so this is why he's playing at a high level. And also I love the fact that you brought up, you know, a big part of your story is, again, your environment. You know, you came from a situation very similar to mine, which, you know, this is about you, but just to piggyback on this, because I want everybody to understand that it doesn't matter what your circumstances is when you start out. You know, it doesn't matter what your circumstances are around you. And, you know, I grew up in a situation, alcoholic father, you know, stepfather. My mother smoked. She probably smoked while she was pregnant with me. She said she didn't, but just chain smoking, you know, and I was going to the store to buy, this is back in the day when kids could buy cigarettes. Like I was hopping myself over to buy cigarettes like every day. And, you know, living at one point we lived next door to a crack house, you know, and actually seeing my family succumb to that. And it was really definitely a hard situation. But I got a good reference point as to what I don't want. And even though I came from that, I got to see very clearly, the holes in that. But a lot of us can get kind of wrapped up in it.
Oh, yeah.
And think that there's not another way. There's absolutely another way. And there's two amazing people right here speaking about this. If I could pat myself on the back a little bit. But
and you don't will.
there's that. It's so important. I really want people to walk away with it. Doesn't matter where you are right now. There is a way. And I think that one of the things that can encapsulates this episode is, you've got to have a different reference point and get yourself around people who can help to lift you up. And I also want to just really quickly touch on the fact that you mentioned, the NBA and the NFL and all these major things that you're doing, man. I want to know, just right from you, how does it feel to be able to make that kind of impact and to align yourself with like powerhouse, multi-billion-dollar industries like that?
Yeah, well, I'll be honest, it's no different than talking to you on the show right now. Humans are humans. I like to be around people who give value, and people who contribute. And I think because what you'll discover is there's some people who are multimillionaires, but I mean, as humans, man, you wouldn't want to spend 30 minutes with them. Just not good people. And so I like to be around good people, and there happen to be some good people who happen to be multimillionaires, who happen to be billionaires. But there happen to be some poor people who are real good people. People who just haven't gotten the right information in terms of wealth. But character-wise, I like to believe Granny had it going on. Granny just she didn't really do school and read and do all of that. But I mean, was a phenomenal woman, to her community. But it feels good. I made a statement that some people question. I'm the next Martin Luther King. I'm the next Malcolm X. I'm that new guy. Some people question, like, what do you mean by that? And I mean responsibility. It feels good to be responsible for other people's life, to be a shepherd for other people and not just be concerned with the I. So that's what I mean. I don't mean I'm going to speak better than Martin Luther King. I don't mean I'm going to speak better than Malcolm X. But these are people who took personal responsibility for the growth and the development of other people. Their lives weren't just about them and how much money they make and what cars they drive and what houses they live in. So for me, man, that's the biggest part. Like, I have a chance through social media to impact the world on the level that Martin Luther King. What if Martin Luther King had Twitter? What if he had Facebook? He would have. I Have a Dream. That sucker would have had probably about 1 trillion hits.
Right.
So for me, man, it feels good to know that I'm keeping the legacy alive, that I'm not self-centered and selfish and but we're really trying to change the world, and it's a good feeling, like you said earlier, when somebody says, I listened to TGIM or I read your book and it changed my life. To know as a human who's still trying to, overcome some vices and, really get my A game and I'm still human, man. I'm just like everybody else. Yeah. And to see how a human can help another human while they're transitioning and they're growing, it's humbling, man. It's truly humbling.
Man, there's another, you just speak in powerful points, man, and for that particular point, I think that I really pulled away that it doesn't really matter, again, where you've come from. And also when you start to get grandiose ideas about what you can actually do in your life, understand it's just other people. You're just operating and dealing with other people who are human just like you. Even though you've done these massive, incredible things, you're still a person. And we connect with people, and so to not get yourself all up in arms and to be afraid to reach out or to think that somebody is beyond you. It's really a level playing field here once we get down to the nuts and bolts of the situation. And man, it's been such an honor to have you on, and I know that your time is super valuable. So there's one great question that I like to leave my guests with, and I'm interested to see your answer. What is the model that you're here to set with the way that you're living your life?
That, again, like you said, it doesn't matter how you start, but how you finish. And I'm here to show people that if you give 120%, there's nothing you can't have or nothing you can't do or be. And my problem with most humans is that you have a 120 wish, you have a 120 want, but you don't have a 120 work. You know what I'm saying? Like you wish at 120, you want at 120, but your work ethic is not 120. And I'm here to show people that you don't have to be born with a silver spoon in your mouth. Your father does not have to be a millionaire. Your mother does not have to be well connected. You will not outwork me. You will not outwork me. And my work will take me everywhere I want to be. My work will make me a pilot. I tell people I'm a pilot. I may not have a pilot's license, but with my work ethic, I fly high.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With my work ethic, it takes me all over the world. So if my motto is 120 in everything, and you can have 120 in anything.
Love it. Incredible. Well, everybody, thank you so much for tuning into the show today. I hope that you got a lot of value out of this. And the biggest point here at the end is really pointing to the fact that 120%, is what he's speaking about. Are you waking up and truly putting in your 120? But even if you've achieved mediocre success in something, you might have been like, you know what? I got up and I gave my full 80 today. Full 80. I put my full 80 in, Shawn. Why am I not seeing the results long term, or why am I not seeing the results that I initially started to see when I first started out, or even had this idea? So it's having the attitude and the mentality and what Eric really brings to the table about this 120, and we all have that capacity, and it doesn't matter where you are right now. It doesn't matter, if your health is failing. It doesn't matter if your relationship is failing. It doesn't matter if your business is failing. There is still more in you. You're alive right now, and you have the capacity, just by the very nature of you being alive, to do so much. So again, thank you so much for tuning into the show. Make sure to share this with a friend. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.